and we all got together and we all came to the agreement and the understanding that it was going to get ugly. It got ugly in the initial stages for a little while. Then it tended to seem to cool off a little bit. But now some things have resurfaced, and there are a lot of big time schools implicated in these allegations, a lot of big time players implicated in these allegations. We will get to that as well today, but I posted this morning, as you know, February is Black History Month or African American History Month, whichever you choose. I choose both, and if you go over to Facebook and Instagram, on Facebook it's SportsRap Radio Shows, the group page, and on Instagram it's at SportsRap_D. I posted my recognizing person of the day, the person that I'm recognizing today, and I've been doing it every day for this month with along with my updates and things of that nature. But today I put my updates up. Well, actually, I didn't put my updates up. I'm going to give my updates live on air. But I did post my Black History or African American History fact. And for us being a sports show, if you didn't notice, if you haven't seen them, all of our facts for Black History Month have been Black first in sports. So it's always going to be the first African American to whatever. So keep in tune with that. We've got 2 more days left in the month of February, so there will be 2 more coming. I think I'm going to continue that a little bit into March as well on the show live, as always, with the updates. Like again, I said, the updates I'm going to try and do twice a day. Sometimes my days get hectic, a little busy, and I can't completely get both of them in. But I will definitely give you the one in the morning, and I will definitely do my best to stay consistent and keep it giving you 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon or the evening. With that being said, NBA action last night. We had 5 games last night, and here are your scores from yesterday's NBA games. The Pistons fall to the Hornets 98-114. The Pelicans edge out the Bucks 123-121. The Spurs demolish the Cavs 110-94. The Sixers fall to the Wizards 94-109, and the Rockets escape with a close one over the Warriors 119-114. Tonight's schedule, you got the Lakers at the Hawks, the Pistons at the Raptors, the Bulls at the Nets, the Warriors at the Knicks, the Grizzlies at the Celtics. The Magic are at OKC to play the Thunder. The Suns are in New Orleans to face off against the Pelicans. The Pacers are in Dallas to go against the Mavs. The Rockets travel to Utah to play the Jazz. And rounding out tonight's schedule, the Minnesota Timberwolves are in Sacktown to play the Kings. Now, I want to get back to the Sixers game, since this is where we are. Philly Sixers. A lot of excitement around the team, and we've been telling you this since last season, probably the season before that. We've been telling people just to wait. Our time is coming. It's coming slowly but surely, and we're sticking with trusting the process because we trust the process. And so far, so good. Yesterday's game was a crucial game for the Sixers because if they had won that game yesterday, they could have catapulted up to, I believe, the 5 spot. Then I think the Wizards would have fell to like the 6th spot. But unfortunately, the Sixers couldn't make a basket yesterday for stretches of that game. I mean, they gave a great effort at the end, but it just got back to what it was. They could not make a basket yesterday, and it hurt them down the stretch where that lead got too big. And like I said, they made an effort. They made a great effort, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And now they sit at the number 7 seed. If the season was to end today and the playoffs started, the Sixers will be in the 7th seed. And right now, I don't like that because we will play the Celtics in the 7th seed. I kind of like our Sixers' chances in that 4, 5, maybe even 6 range, especially 4 or 5 range, because I think the team that we would play in that 4 or 5 range will be more matched with us and our skill set and the way our roster is made up right now. So, like I said, they are 32-26, and 6 games over 500. Haven't been this many games over 500 in a long time. Haven't been talking about playoff talk in a little while. But there is a push, and the silver lining in our Sixers cloud is the fact that they have the easiest schedule out of all the remaining schedules in the NBA. They have the easiest schedule. And they're coming together very well. I like the bond, the cohesiveness that Joel and Ben are creating on the court. I still need to see Dario give me a little bit more. Dario had he struggled a lot last night, and I don't know what that's coming from. A lot of games earlier in the season when I thought that he struggled was my opinion the fact that Coach Brown has put him in situations where he had to play the 5. In my opinion, just talking basketball, I think that takes away from his offensive skill because he's taking a little bit more of a beating on the defensive end trying to guard 5s, and he's not really a 5. And I understand there's really not many traditional 5s in the league right now. The league has changed, but you also have to take into consideration that you need Dario's offense as well. So you can't put your offensive player or some of your best offensive players in the position where they're going to struggle and take a beating on defense because it ultimately takes away from what they can give you on the offensive end. The pickup of Bellinelli, I think, will help. He showed that in his first game here where he had a somewhat of a breakout game, if you will. I think Brett has to find other ways to get him in the flow of the offense with that second team because he could be the scorer that we're looking for off the bench, one of the scorers coming off the bench, because what we have on the bench right now is not very impressive. These guys are not really three-point shooters. And let me get my notes here. And I'll tell you what we got. Now, here are some things that have been said about the Sixers' makeup and their roster right now. Some of the things that have been said is that the Sixers have a tremendous starting lineup with a very poor bench that drags the team down. I can agree with that. I won't say it's very poor. I would kind of take that word "very" out because I don't think they're very poor. I don't think they're like extremely bad, but I think there can be upgrades, there can be changes made to help the bench. Second thing, in truth, we have some solid bench players in Amir, TJ, and Booker. But the problem is, and this is where I agree also, none of those players is a volume three-point shooter, and none of them can really create their own shot, can create his own shot consistently. I agree with that. Amir Johnson is not a guy who will dribble or whatever to take his own shot. He's either an offensive rebounder, putback, hustle guy, if he gets a mismatch. TJ is the playmaker and the orchestrator of the team. Booker is the lunch pail guy like we like to have in Philly, the scrappy hustle guy who's going to get buckets in the flow when they come his way, like missed baskets, offensive rebounds, loose balls in transition. But if you had to give him the ball and say create your own shot, we're going to struggle with that. The third thing, our backup wings do not solve the problem, as A, they are not good three-point shooters, B, they can't create for themselves or others, and C, they are not very good defenders, and as a consequence, D, they are just not very good players at this point in their careers. At this point, the writer of this article is referring to TLC, Justin Anderson, and Jared Bates. I talked to some people, and we talked about the more recent, just as recent as yesterday, the news and the rumors that the Sixers could possibly bring back Ersan Ilyasova. And we discussed about who would possibly be waived or let go, if you will, to make room for him. A lot of people have been thinking it would be Trevor Booker. I don't think it would be Trevor Booker. A lot of people are saying they would like it to be Amir Johnson because of his price tag. Right now, you can't really get rid of Amir Johnson at this point because then you have only Rashawn Holmes as your backup center. So you kind of have to keep that veteran there for your playoff push. And, you know, it's nothing against Rashawn Holmes. I love the energy that he brings. I love his activity, his aggressiveness. But he's still young, and Amir Johnson has been on teams that have been to the playoffs and is a veteran in the league. So you can use him in that facet. TLC, I think, still needs some work on his game to be consistent at the NBA level. He could possibly use some time in the G League to work on some skills, you know, get a list from the coaches on what you need to work on and go down to the G League and bang that out and then get your call back up, you know, and things would be better. Justin Anderson, I thought was a good, scrappy guy for us when he first came over in that trade from Dallas. But he showed flashes, but he's been hurt. He's not in uniform right now. And if I had to pick between him and Trevor Booker, I think I would swing more towards Trevor Booker for the simple fact that, like I said, Trevor Booker